All set. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to the Board of County Road Commissioners meeting of the County of Kalamazoo. 3 o'clock. We will bring the meeting to order now. I'd like to start, Ms. Wright, if you would read the public comment guidelines.
This meeting is being provided under Act 267 of the Public Acts of 1976 as amended, or commonly referred to as the Open Meetings Act. During public comment, participants will have the opportunity to address the board at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items. Public comments should be provided at the podium in order to ensure proper audio. Public comments, statements, or questions shall be limited to not more than 3 minutes for each person addressing the board. To provide public comment by Zoom, use the raise hand feature in the Zoom application. The host will ask you to unmute. For telephone audio, use *9. Use *6 to toggle back and forth between mute and unmute. As you participate in the meeting, your microphone will be placed on mute. The chat feature shall only be used to address any technical issues for public participation.
Thank you. Would you join me for Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The goal of the Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Kalamazoo is using our expertise, energy, and funds to provide the safest and most convenient road system possible, and to contribute to the economic development and high quality of life throughout the county. Our goal is to maintain a county road system that is safe and convenient for public travel, and to maintain the roadside environment with a view towards preservation. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to have approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
From Kennedy moves, supported by Davis. Thank you. Any comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next agenda item is approval of our minutes from February 10. We have a motion there.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Davis.
Support.
Support by Thompson. Any discussion? We'll call the question then. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have approval of payroll and vendor accounts. Payroll in the amount of $190,190.67, and vendor accounts in the amount of $444,661.21. Do we have a motion there?
Motion to approve the payroll and vendor accounts.
Second.
Motion by Davis, second by Kennedy. Thank you. Any comments from any board members at this time? I guess I should double check too. Audience, anybody has questions or comments on vendor accounts and payroll, likewise online? Not hearing any. Okay. Last call for board members. Any questions, comments? Okay. We'll call the question. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. It's now time for public comment on non-agenda items. We would ask that you state your name, the area you're from, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please direct them toward the board. Thank you. Commissioner Gisler, welcome here. Come on forward.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I'm John Gisler. I'm a county commissioner representing 5 of the 15 rural townships in the county. And I have just a few things I'd like to say. Some of it I know I've heard before, and that is the scale or the schedule for the upcoming Kalamazoo Citizens for Responsible Government meetings, which are on second Mondays. There's a question now of whether we're really going to have Jeff Sorensen on Monday and second Monday in March, because you've got a meeting you got to go to.
Board review.
Board review, hardly can dodge that. So I'm going to see if I can get Derek Knopfs from Consumers Energy, who was going to talk to us in April, to talk to us in less than 2 weeks. And he always has something in his can ready to, go. And we'll let him switch with Jeff if that works out well. We'll have Kevin Catlin, the administrator of the county, speak to us in second Monday in May. And we have Captain Jeff Baker, of the sheriff's office, who will speak to us in June about scams. He's got a scam presentation, so to speak, that he's delivered, he said, 80 times, and we're eager to hear that. So other than Jeff and Derek maybe flip-flopping March and April, we're solid for the next few months. And I will raise the flag and remind everybody that we are just now, as a county commission, beginning to talk at the low levels about a possible millage coming up. Or hasn't been passed or, even put on the ballot or anything, but they're beginning to talk about it, and they want to have it deal with childcare. Now, I don't question for a minute that childcare is a major issue, and the millage would generate between $4.5 and $5 million a year. But I think that ought to come out of the existing county budget. We need to prioritize. And if childcare is that important, let's pull the money from someplace else. $4.5 to $5 million is a lot of money. But when you figure our general fund is around $100 million, this is not asking for a lot. And if you include all the grants and everything else we spend, the county budget spending will be somewhere in the vicinity of $500 million. It's a lot of money. So you'll hear me making a stink in a minority position to say, let's pay for that childcare money some fashion other than asking the good, decent citizens of the county to fund another tax increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gisler. Anyone else in our audience that would like to speak? Online, double check here. Not online. Okay, public comment period's complete here. There's a time later in the meeting if we missed you now. We have our new business items now. First item is to request approval of the Michigan State Police Traffic Control Order in Oshtemo Township. Managing Director, do you have any comments you want to make there?
I do. I can give a little background for the board and the audience. So a traffic control order, also known as the TCO, is used by the Road Commission whenever establishing speed controls, parking controls, and intersection controls. Both speed and parking controls are issued by the Michigan State Police after investigation by the Michigan State Police and the Road Commission staff. A TCO is a legal document for which a traffic violation may be issued by law enforcement. In accordance with Michigan Compiled Law 257.675, the Michigan State Police is the proper authority to issue no parking TCOs on county roads. Any request for a TCO must come through the road agency with jurisdiction. All signage would be installed and maintained by the road agency. In October of 2025, we were informed that Oshtemo Township had approved a no parking restriction on KL Avenue from 9th to 11th Street and intended to seek a permit from the Road Commission to post signs accordingly. Typically, it is permissible for a vehicle to be parked outside the traveled way. In special cases where parked vehicles may block vision or create an unsafe situation, it becomes necessary to restrict or prohibit parking within the right-of-way. Our staff then sought clarification on the concerns and shared the process to facilitate the approval of a TCO or traffic control order for no parking in accordance with Michigan State Police and state law. After subsequent meetings with Oshtemo Township and the Michigan State Police, To understand the situation and confirm the appropriate process, the road commission received a service request on January 27th of 2026 from Oshtemo Township. And then we have since worked with the Michigan State Police to investigate the conditions and establish a no parking traffic control order for KL Avenue. The TCO before the board for approval today is P39-001-26 KL Avenue from 9th Street to a point 3,500 feet east of 9th Street in Oshtemo Township. So with that, we recommend the board approve the TCO P-39-001-26 for the managing director's signature.
Thank you. Do we have a motion from a board member?
Motion to approve.
Support. Motion by Davis, support by Thompson. Any discussion from board members at this time?
I'd just like to ask Managing Director if you could elaborate on the need for this particular parking restriction at that stretch of road.
Sure, absolutely.
I know the township approached us, but under what rationale would they use it?
So if the board can recall, the section of KL Avenue between 9th and 11th is a two-lane road. It's a rather busy primary road. It does have some horizontal curves in it with some guardrail sections. And there is a particular commercial business that was parking their delivery trucks out on the shoulder of the road and actually even into the lane to some degree. It's been going on for quite a while. This is the background of the request from Oshtemo Township to get those vehicles removed from the edge of the road.
And if I may continue on a regular, just as a point of clarification, it's stated that it's allowable to park vehicles off the road surface on most county roads. What's the kind of like the min max on that? I mean, how close to the road can people be, and how far? I mean, obviously we don't want them out of the parking on public, on private properties, but kind of like what are we looking at as what's generally considered safe?
Well, I probably would need to refer to staff to give you some specifics, but you know, what is allowable is whatever is reasonably safe.
Okay.
But maybe Jim, our assistant county engineer, can give you some specific guidelines as to what that would be.
Thank you. Yes. So in accordance with the Michigan State law, the vehicles can park outside the traveled way. Meaning they could park outside the paved shoulder, they could be on the gravel shoulder and beyond. In this area, I think there's been some infringing on the paved shoulder, which, you know, could be a bike area. So that could be, depends on who's patrolling and how they're gonna write the ticket, I guess. If somebody's parking in a lane where a vehicle is about to travel or a bike lane of some sort, they could be ticketed and enforced by the law as it stands now, because that's obstructing traffic. So as long as they're outside of the travel way, technically it's legal. There are some other state law definitions. So in terms of being how close you are to a hydrant or an intersection or a driveway, all of that is, there's all those rules too.
Okay.
So that further, I guess, creates, some confusion. But with this, it would basically make the whole stretch from 9th Street through that first curb, really, which is the 2-lane section, predominantly where we're seeing the problem. It's heavily wooded. There's guardrail, very narrow area. You got some ravines and such, so it's more problematic in this area.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions, board members? Okay, the audience here on site, anyone have questions or comments? And online? Okay. Thank you, commissioners. Shall we call the question then? Okay. We have a motion to approve traffic control order P39-001-26 KL Avenue from 9th Street to a point 3,500 feet east of 9th Street and Oshtemo Township. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, we have the request for agricultural lease agreement on some road commission property. Managing Director, would you like to give us some comments there?
Sure, I will. Some of the board members may recall we had a lease, agricultural lease in front of the board approximately a year and a half ago for our property out on 4th Street in Prairie Run Township. So the road commission owns a parcel out on 4th Street north of U Avenue. It used to be an active gravel pit. Currently, the road commission uses it more for storage of our different aggregates that we've used for chip seal, and we also dispose of wood and brush at this pit location. But also there's an area along the road, the whole road frontage that has not been disturbed. It's tillable land. And we've had offers over the years from area farmers to farm that property. The acreage has decreased over the years as we've sold some of the property off. If I go back 15, 20 years ago, there used to be close to 20 acres that was tillable, and currently there's about 3. So with that being said, last year we had an offer from Mr. Tom Bible to rent the property from us. He rented it in 2025, and then has since provided requested to terminate the lease for 2026. He's no longer farming. So recently we received a call and an offer from another area farmer, Mr. Lee Phelps, inquiring if we'd be interested in leasing the property to him. So with that, we have a lease agreement in front of the board today. This is an annual lease that will continue to renew annually until either party terminates with 30 days notice. Again, there's only 3 acres here in the lease agreement. We're no longer bringing in $300 worth of revenue, so that's $100 per acre. But to give you a little bit of history, back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, we rented the property for $31.50 an acre. And then 26, 27, we rented those 2 years for $78.75. And then 2008 to 2017 went back down to $50 an acre. So currently we are at $100 an acre. Not a significant amount of revenue for the road commission, but the advantage really for us is having that area farmed. Our road team does not have to maintain that area, mowing the weeds and the brush. It also creates a buffer for our operations from the road. And there's some security to it, simply to deter people from driving off onto the property when there's a crop growing there. There is no fence around our property to be able to prevent vehicles from entering. So with that, we recommend the board approve the agricultural lease agreement with Mr. Larry Phelps for the managing director's signature.
And we have a motion.
I'll make that motion, Thompson.
I'll second.
Motion by Thompson, seconded by Kennedy. Thank you. Do we have any audience comments? Online comments? Not okay. Board members, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Ready to call the question. All those in favor of approving the agricultural property lease to Mr. Larry Phelps, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, we have a request to approve bid number 2026-02 for aggregate materials seasonal. Managing Director.
All right. First of all, I want to point out in the memo that the board has in front of them under the recommendation, there is a vendor that was not included in that recommendation for award, and that is for Plank Trucking Company. So we'll need to include that company in the motion. They were part of the bid. They were the low bidder for a couple materials. They just were missed in the memo for the board. So the aggregate seasonal bid is our typically annual bid that the road commission puts out to seek pricing for our aggregates that we use on our projects and our maintenance throughout the county. There's really 2 prongs to this bid. The first piece is our vendors bidding their different types of material that are available at their locations, at their typically their gravel pits. So we have those prices in our bid tab, and staff is recommending to award to all of our vendors that bid for all the material just based on the haul distance. So our team would actually go to the location that's closest to the job site to pick up the material versus driving maybe across the county to another location, which costs more transportation costs than the savings we would have purchasing the material. So with that, again, the staff is recommending that we award to all of our bidders for the aggregates picked up at the pits, the gravel pits. And then also the second part of our recommendation is to award to the individual vendors based on their cost for material delivered here to the road commission. So we also purchase the same material, have it delivered to our facility, put in our stock, and typically when our crews go out, they load here first thing in the morning versus going to a gravel pit. So just some efficiency there, but we need these materials available to us here. So the pricing for that would be by vendor at the lowest price delivered here to the road commission. So with that, we are recommending the board award the aggregate seasonal requirements bid 2026-02 to Ag Resources Incorporated for Plank Trucking Company, Michigan Paving and Materials, Swarthout Excavating LLC, and Top Grade Aggregates LLC based on the haul distance for material loaded in the road commission trucks and by low bidder for material delivered to the road commission yard, which may be extended annually for 3 one-year extensions by mutual agreement of both parties.
Thank you. Double checking here. Did we start with a motion or I have to back up?
You have to back up.
Thank you. I miscued my notes here. Do we have a motion from a board member?
Motion to approve the request for aggregate bid materials. Support.
Support. Thank you. Motion by Davis, support by Thompson. Do we have any audience comments or questions? Or online comments, questions? Okay, not hearing, seeing any. Board members, any comments or questions?
Managing Director, please.
No, go ahead.
Managing Director, I was just curious. The 4th Street gravel pit is also a source of aggregate. I was just what type of aggregate are we currently extracting from that facility?
We currently are not extracting any material from that facility. We're more using it for a staging area.
And does it have any potential in the future for being that, or are we kind of done with that aspect of that?
There's really just a couple acres right adjacent to the road that potentially could be mined at some point, but the cost to bring a vendor in to mine it versus just buying from the neighboring gravel pits really just doesn't pay at this point.
The two things on the one page maybe brought that to mind. Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy?
But I just wanted to make sure I didn't really hear that additional name that you wanted to add so that, so it's this motion plus the amendment or added name so that we don't,
Yes, the additional vendors for Plank Trucking, so I'll reread the motion.
Thank you. Please.
Any other commissioner comments?
Thank you.
I do remember clearing that site years ago, chip seal related, maybe they were, was it the rubber chip seal? If I have the right site.
Which site are you referring to?
Well, excuse me.
The 4th Street site?
I'm thinking back to our aggregate, excuse me there, the agricultural lease
Yes.
subject, yeah. You were asking about mining aggregate, so that's brought my mind to the prior item. Okay. Okay, we have a motion and seconded. We've had discussion time. The motion is to recommend the board award our aggregate seasonal requirements bid 2026-02 to Aggregate Resources Inc., also adding in for Plank Trucking, material paving, Michigan Paving and Materials Swarthout Excavating LLC and Top Grade Aggregates LLC based on the haul distance for material loaded in RCKC trucks and by low bidder for materials delivered to the RCKC yard, which all may be extended for 3 one-year extensions by mutual agreement of both parties. Voice vote here. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, we have a request for approval of the Charleston Township local road contract. Managing Director would like to give us overview there.
I do. So again, this local road contract is for Charleston Township. So Charleston Township is matching par funds, but they're also providing additional $41,348 on top of the match. So we appreciate that partnership. And I just want to point out here also is we've been working with Charleston Township for a few years now, trying to pave the section of road, 38th Street from M96 to G Avenue, or just shy of G Avenue to the township line. And we will be able to complete that project as part of this contract. So it's been a really 4-year project to get complete. We broke it in 2 halves and made it a 2-year project for each half. So the majority of the dollars will be going towards putting the top course of asphalt on 38th Street south of G Avenue. So with that, we recommend the board approve the local road contract with Charleston Township for the chair signature.
Thank you, Managing Director. Board members, any? Vote. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Seconded by Kennedy. Thank you. Board members, any comments? Audience, any comments? And online, any comments? Okay. Double check, board members, any further comments, questions? All right, we'll call the question. This is a motion to approve the Charleston Township local road contract for the vice chair's signature. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. We now have new agenda item, request approval of the Prairie Run Township local road contract. Managing Director.
All right, again, another typical local road contract. Again, we appreciate the partnership this time with Prairie Run Township. They are also matching their participation funds and providing an additional $76,455 on top of that match. The projects in Prairie Run Township this season will be primarily chip seal, along with a couple gravel resurfacing projects. So with that, we recommend the board approve the Prairie Run local road contract for the vice chair signature.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Davis, seconded by Kennedy. Thank you. Any comments from our audience? Online? Not? Okay. Commissioners, any additional comments, questions? We will call the question. The motion is to approve the Prairie Run Township local road contract for by the chair. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, I appreciate seeing all these local road contracts coming in. Next is a request to approve Richland Township local road contract. Managing Director, any specific or new comments there?
Nothing specific. Richland Township is matching our par funds, and primarily looks like chip seal, fog seal type projects, along with one gravel resurfacing project. So again, appreciate their partnership. And with that, we recommend that board approve the Richland Township local road contract with vice chair signature.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dixon,
Second.
second by Davis. Thank you. Commissioners, any comments, additional comments this time? Audience, any comments? Online, any comments? These are so controversial, huh? Not really. We appreciate them coming in. We will call the question in to approve the Richland Township local road contract. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And similar, we have the request to approve Schoolcraft Township local road contract. Any comments, Managing Director?
Again, just want to point out the partnership. Schoolcraft Township obviously matched the par funds and overmatched by an additional $106,904. So very significant. And it looks like primarily these projects will be chip seal again, along with a few HMA overlay projects. So it's good to see those types of projects in the mix for fixes. So with that, we request the board approve the Schoolcraft Township local road contract for the vice chair's signature.
I'll make that motion, Thompson.
Okay, we have a motion by Thompson, second by Kennedy. Just as an informational item, township local road contracts, we hope to have all those in by mid-March.
So our policy says March 15th.
Okay.
We may have one township that may be requesting the board delay that to March 16th. But I'll have hopefully something more for the board at the next board meeting.
Okay.
And also I want to point out, this is 6 contracts of the 15 that we have approved. So we're well on the way to getting to 15.
Okay. 6 of 50. We have a few more to come.
So we should see quite a few at the next meeting.
Great. And appreciate the work staff and the townships putting these in place. Double check any comments of commissioners? No, audience. Not in the room, online, not, okay. So we have a motion before us to approve the Schoolcraft Township local road contract for vice chair signature. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Say. Motion carried. Next, we have new business item to review and approve the revised personnel policies. Managing Director, can you give us some overview?
Sure. So personnel policies are periodically reviewed to ensure they remain current, clear, and aligned with applicable laws, our operational needs, and our organizational practices. We have identified a few updates that are necessarily to improve clarity, consistency, and administrative efficiency. So we actually have 3 recommendations today for the board and some personnel policy adjustments. And I just want to go through them one at a time. I'm just going to look at the red line here and try to explain the adjustments that we're proposing. So if you look at the first one, it's the vacation policy. And then the red line, you notice it's marked off, crossed through the old policy. Says it's the managing director's discretion to allocate up to 5 additional days of vacation time to new hires. And after that, the new hires would actually have to come in front of the board to request any additional days. What we are proposing under the new language is allowing the managing director to have the discretion to make an offer for the additional days as part of the negotiations. So what we're up against today is we're trying to attract and retain experienced high level type leadership. We generally don't bring those in at entry level vacation days or vacation schedules because they do have many years of experience. And again, as we negotiate with these potential new hires, we need some flexibility to be able to offer them vacation based on their relevant years of service and their prior work experience. So with that, we're proposing making that change of removing the 5 days and leaving it to the managing director's discretion as to where they would fall in the vacation schedule. But I will point out, wherever a new hire falls, they stay at that level until they achieve those years of service, right? So they don't move ahead and advance any sooner than a current employee. Any questions on that policy before I move to the next?
You, so when you say board, are we talking about like the labor board or our board?
Our board.
Our board.
And some of the concerns with that, especially if we have a candidate that's currently working, right, is confidentiality.
Right.
Right. So before we can even make them an offer, we have to negotiate these types of benefits, and they would have to come in front of the board and set a public meeting. So ideally, it needs to be done through the managing director versus the board.
Thank you.
Any others?
So managing director, have you found in the past in your negotiations for potential employees that you think it would have been advantageous for you to have a little more bargaining capacity to, to offer to sweeten the deal? And that's just, this is part of what you're thinking might allow you the ability to bring more higher qualified people in by having a little more to offer. Is that where we're at with this?
There's really 2 points I think we end up negotiating with new hires. It's pay and vacation time.
Yeah.
And we have the flexibility to negotiate the pay, but we're limited on the vacation time. And that seems to be one of the sticking points with new hires.
So would this new policy cap your ability to negotiate at any level, or would it give you kind of free reign to?
It would be free reign, right? But based on their prior work experience, relevant work experience, right? And how they would fit into this schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kennedy.
So there's no up to 5 extra days, or it's just whatever you need it to be, correct?
Correct. So if we had a new hire that maybe had 25 years of experience at another road agency and we wanted to bring them on, we would have to start off at the 2 weeks plus the 5 days, right? So 3 weeks would be the cap today, where that's just hard to attract somebody with that many years of a service to our organization when we're limited to 3 weeks.
So if we were trying to attract a new managing director with 31 years of experience, how many days of vacation would we have to offer them?
Well, we probably ought to get at least at that 25. I don't know.
Thank you for all your years of service.
Yes. Thank you.
Good. I think managing director, you have some other.
I do. There's 2 more policies. I just want to go through. The next is the retirement policy. Really all we're doing here is changing 60 days notice for all employees to provide an effective day of retirement to our non-exempt employees, which are hourly employees, reducing that to 30 days notice, which is consistent with what's in our collective bargaining agreement. We think that's sufficient. And again, it's in our agreement for a good portion of our hourly employees and trying to offer some consistency amongst our entire team. So with that, we would stick with the 60 days for our exempt employees, which are salary type employees, our leadership team that have supervisory duties. And then our non-exempt hourly employees would all be moved to that 30-day notice. Any questions on that? Okay, tuition reimbursement. As we look through this, I'm going to call it number 2. It was number 3 and struck out. We added the word basically educational to institution, right? So again, just some wordsmithing to understand that the reimbursement would be for any course taken under an educational institution, not just an institution. Also in number 3, which is now the new number 3, we've added a sentence that says commercial driver's license, CDL, license fees may be considered for reimbursement as an exception. We have actually been doing this for a few years. So with our tuition reimbursement policy, we allow our staff to go out and get further educated, right? With approval from their supervisor, as long as it's a relevant type course. And then with our policy, once they pass the class with C or better, the road commission reimburses them. For our road maintenance team, we have allowed them to go get their commercial driver's license or upgrade their commercial driver's license using the same tuition reimbursement policy. So it's further education, but it allows them to meet the requirements of the collective bargaining agreement to have the proper license to do the work here at the road commission. So we bring some of our team members in without CDL licenses, and we give them, was it up to a year to be able to achieve that. And we also bring in ones that don't have the proper type of a CDL, where they can improve their CDL to a Class A, which is what we require. So that's another addition under number 3 is that commercial driver's license reimbursement. And then also we added under number 3 another sentence to say tuition reimbursement is available only for tuition expenses paid directly by the employee, costs covered by other funding sources, including grants, or are not eligible for reimbursement. So if our employees have already received a reimbursement, we're not going to reimburse them yet. So those are the changes under the tuition reimbursement.
Thank you. Do you have a motion?
Motion to request for the request to review, approve, support.
Okay, this is to revise our personnel policies regarding vacation, retirement pension, and tuition reimbursement. Do we have any audience comments or questions? Or online? Not. Commissioners, do you have any additional questions or comments? On the vacation one, not that you would recall, but has that occurred very frequent where we negotiate extra days?
So we went back and looked, and the last time we actually went to the board for more than 5 days was in 2016.
Okay. Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, was that a successful negotiation? Or did we?
It was, but the employee no longer works there.
Okay.
Any other commissioner questions?
Call the question.
We're ready to call the question. Those in favor of revising the personnel policies as presented, please say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Here. We are up to our time in our meeting for public comment on agenda items, where we invite those in the audience or online to make any comments they would like at this time. Please identify yourself and direct your comments to the board and limit your comments to 3 minutes. In the audience here, anyone wishing to speak? Online, anyone wishing to speak? Not okay. Thank you very much. We will close that public comment time then. Managing Director, your time to give us an update on what you'd like to.
I just have a few things today. I don't know if the board had a chance to check their email. Last night, late afternoon, 3 o'clock, there was a CRA legislative update that came out, and it included a couple distribution schedules, one for the Michigan Transportation Fund and one for the Neighborhood Road Fund. It's good to see those updated numbers and even some consistency from what we were told maybe late 2025. So with that schedule in 2026, the Road Commission of Kalamazoo County would be, this is just an estimation, right? This is just what we would anticipate that we could receive. $29,349,491. So about a $2 million increase from 2025. We hope that number is real. And we should know if there's some consistency with it coming up here this week. We're actually expecting to receive our first 2026 MTF check for January. Which should have a pretty significant increase in it. So if it does, then we hopefully are well on track to get to the 29 million. The neighborhood road fund schedule put Kalamazoo at $8,371,559. So a little bit less than I think what we originally thought. I think we we're closer to 9 million, but again, we'll take the 8.3 million. But we have no idea when that's coming. This update didn't provide any timelines for it. So at this point, we don't expect to see it for this construction season. But the hope is it's still going to be there for next year. So next thing I wanted to share, unless there's questions on that or any comments that the board might want.
It sounds consistent with what our expectations were.
It is. It's pretty consistent. It's just nobody can address the timeline with the neighborhood road fund, right? That's the big elephant in the room. The CRA annual conference and road show, March 24th through the 26th. So we're all going to Lansing those 3 days. There is a dinner planned on the evening of March 24th at 6 p.m. So I'll shoot out a text to the board members. I just need RSVP to see who's available to go to that. And then the last thing, Sarah Phillips, our communications administrator, has a great production for us that we'd like to share. It's a video of our 2025 year in review here at the Road Commission. We've got that completed and ready to advertise, so we thought we'd share it with the board. So Sarah?
More interesting than reading an annual report.
Isn't it?
Much
Well, and-
numbers and all, so thank you.
So I just want to thank Sarah for the great job putting that together, and thanks to the board for the support, right? To support the position and the tools to do this type of work. We have a lot of talent here, and without talent, we need these tools to make it all happen. So great job, and thank you. We can only get better from here, right? So I have one more last thing for the board. So in our 5-year capital improvement plan for 2026, in our approved budget, we had a used liquid asphalt tanker to purchase. So when we purchase used under our policy, we can either negotiate a private sale or go to a public auction. We have been looking at a tank out of Holland. We made an offer on it last week. The offer was accepted, and it's in the check run for board approval. That's why I wanted to share it. It's a 14,500 gallon tanker. It's a very large tanker. We would use it on our job sites with chip seal to take deliveries from our vendor, just as a mobile storage unit, just to put those loads that come in during the day through this tanker to store it as we need it to get the tanks out of here. We don't pay demurrage costs on these trucks that deliver. So with that, the budget amount for the tanker was $40,000, and we negotiated the purchase of this unit for $31,000. So a few $9,000 under budget. So I just wanted to share that. When we have another road tour, we'll go take a look at it and see what we purchased. So that's all I have, unless there's questions for me.
Clarifying, a tanker, does it distribute or it just stores?
It just stores. It's a semi-tanker hooked to a semi-tractor. So it's just a storage tank.
Thank you. Board members, any questions, comments for Amanda? Okay. We'll give time for our commissioners now. Commissioner Kennedy, you've had some interesting training or other events, perhaps?
Yes. So, first of all, great video. Thank you for that. And I also want to make sure that our staff knows, your staff knows that they've done a really tremendous job. I just can't say that enough. And it's just important to state. And then you guys sent me to CRA's commissioners in the classroom. So that was a wonderful training. I just want to share with you that being a new commissioner has a lot of different challenges, and there's lots to know. Budget, people, different books and laws, policies, civics. We even had a civics class, study hall, gym class, and it was just very well done. And the information that was provided was pertinent. I mean, it wasn't too much, but it was just the right amount of information so that we could really have a great foundation that I personally needed and enjoyed. I mean, I've learned from all of you, but it's nice getting the books and the information and be able to ask the questions that you didn't really know you had. So it was really wonderful. So thank you for all of those folks involved in getting us there and informing us of the opportunity. And thank you for my shotgun person who kept me awake the entire trip. I appreciate that. And I just wanted to share, as always, for veterans, anyone needing support for your military veterans, I am always available. And we have an event coming up Friday, March 6th at VFW Post 7956, which is in Augusta. And I just it's right on 96, and they will be serving dinner, and it's from 4 to 7 p.m. So if you're not connected to any type of benefits, etc., you just want to learn some things, feel free to stop in, or if you just want to say hello to myself and other veterans, that's fine too. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Commissioner. We had an EHAC meeting last week. Township Supervisor Sorensen is once again elected to preside over that organization for another year. And they made the mistake of giving me the vice chair, but I'll be stepping in for. Spent our time talking about battery storage facilities and what the impacts those might have on our community. It's very enlightening. I think in general, the community is starting to become a lot more interested in that topic, and it was pretty good discussion that was had. And then I took the opportunity to remind the EHAC community of the good job that we're trying to do in reducing the amount of salt and that we're getting on the roads, and it was seasonally appropriate topic for me to bring up, because it's like, hey, it's been a really tough winter, and the reason you might not see as many trucks out spreading salt is because we're trying to be good stewards of the ecology and put as little sodium chloride on the surfaces as possible, but also put it where it's needed. So I was advocating for our policy there. And I think that was about what we covered. We elected our new officers and had a good conversation about battery storage. So that's it. Oh, one other thing, personal. 125 years ago, there's a little letter here by a high school student talking about how the funding of roads in the state of Illinois, it was being passed. There was a funding bill being passed in the state house to split the funding between the state and the townships, half and half. And that was 1901, and that was my great grandfather wrote that.
Just a kid.
Who then went on to become a county engineer in Illinois. So same, it's just the continuity of what we're doing. This has been we've been doing this as a community and as a family for a long time, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Thank you. Glad to have you here too. Mr. Thompson.
I do thank you, Sarah. That was a great production there. And I want to reiterate what has been said about our staff and our workers here. We've got a great team, a great leader leading them, and hope to continue the good work we have. Again, I went to the commissioners training, and I went last year, and I think this year was even more informative and better than last year was. Interesting, a couple of things that are consistent, listening to other road commissions, having problems with finding help, either in workers or in engineers. Those were the two things that most people are having a problem with. It was very informative, and I enjoyed it. Thanks for letting me go, and thank you for staying awake while you were driving.
It's always a plus.
Yes, looking forward to the big one coming up in March.
Good.
That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson. Annual conference, I think that's a day of a board meeting. Is my memory right? So we, that's March 24. So we'll review timing and all that later, but okay, good. It's on our minds.
Well, should we have commitments for, that's not our next meeting, that's 2 meetings.
Two meetings out, but just thinking ahead or making everyone aware of that. Okay.
Commitments to have a quorum at some point.
Commissioner Davis stole my thunder a little, just highlighting our managing director, 31 years of service. So thank you. Appreciate that very much. That's quite distinguished. I don't know if you,
Bears repeat.
are you the longest serving employee at present, or you share that with others? Or?
Sure, I'm trying to get there, but there's somebody that outdoes me quite a bit. And Miss Debbie Hill's got how many years, Debbie? I don't even know.
Sure. Wow.
Her employment predated child labor laws.
So, well, it's impressive, the years of service and quality service, and very much appreciated. And on our bi-weekly report, it also highlights other staff members and their anniversaries. So thank you, staff. You know who you are. I don't have the names right in front of me to list them. I mispronounce them anyway, perhaps, but thank you very much. Appreciate it. I know it's been a heavy winter, so I'm sure those members, some of you are here, but others are in the field and served many extra hours this winter, trying to keep up with the heavy demand.
Jeff has a question.
I would just like to say one thing as a township supervisor, 26 years in this field. I've never seen the road commission run better than it is right now.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. Is that because we're here or because he's here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A true politician.
Yeah.
Now, he was commenting yesterday, this is Supervisor Sorensen, of his years of service in his township. So
Like
40 years,
Yep.
so fire department and on the board, maybe various boards, but I think of him as supervisor mostly. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, as well, I'd like to say thank you for the video. It's good to get an overview of the work done. It looks so simple when you observe it there, but I know in the field it's we're pleased we have some diligent people working there, and it's a nice video highlight. Thank you. I was able to attend the township meeting last night at Comstock, and I'm sure, I know our commissioners try to get around to the townships they're liaison with at various times. Our goal is to get there once per quarter, so we appreciate that. I see some of our townships represented online. Oshtemo is the one jumping out to me at the moment. Perhaps others as well. Thank you to our audience too. Appreciate two county commissioners being here and a supervisor and staff. At this time, I'm not aware of any other business. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Dave, support by Kennedy, I heard. All in favor, say aye.
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 We're adjourned. Thank you.
Yes.
Vice Chair.